Good day everyone! Kumusta man mo? I hope you are all doing well today. I am Clarice Palacio, one of the facilitators of the group, and I will be the one to present to you some examples of performance standards and transfer goals. So before I present to you some examples, let us first have a short review on how to formulate a transfer goal. Now we know that transfer is the ultimate goal of learning, so as teachers, we need to clarify our goals and think thoroughly about what we want our learners to perform at the end of the discussion or the learning content. So we need to look back on the performance standard, which is our basis in formulating a transfer goal. So again, what is a transfer goal? Yes, that's right. The transfer goal is what sets your goal for the transfer. So the formula of transfer goal is already discussed by the previous facilitator. I'll now present to you some of the examples of a performance standards and a transfer goal. So first, let us identify the performance standards which we have taken from the Department of Education Curriculum Guide, and particularly in the math subject with the content or lesson of problem solving. So this is what our first example is. It's about math and the lesson content is problem solving. So together, let us read the first example of the performance standard. So the learner is able to thoroughly investigate mathematical relationships in various situations, formulate real-life problems involving quadratic equations, inequalities, and functions, and solve them using a variety of strategies. So that is our performance standard. Now let me read the transfer goal. The learner on their own and in the long run will be able to thoroughly investigate mathematical relationships in various problems involving quantities that need to be maximized or minimized and solve them in order to come up with a precise predictions. It was already discussed that the transfer goal is the prerequisite ingredient for the performance task of the transfer learning goal. So basically, it is the basis of performance task. Here we can observe that the formula of formulating transfer goal is applied. So the statement begins with the expression, the student on their own and in the long run will. So we emphasize the long run because learning should be enduring. The verb in the performance standard is also found in the statement. So they use the verbs investigate and solve. So the word solve is very common in math because this is the end goal. This is the common end goal of mathematics, which is to solve problems. Now that we have identified the verbs, can you identify the real world purpose? Yes, you're right. Prediction. So to predict is what we do in the real life. So in the context of mathematics, we also make predictions when there is a pattern in the lesson. So in mathematics, if there are no patterns, we cannot make judgments and predictions. So predictions is also important in mathematics. And we have to take note that the transfer goal contains the product or the performance stipulated in the performance standard. So the last part of the transfer goal indicates the real-world application of the unit lesson. So here we have another example. The learner is able to formulate real-life problems involving systems of linear equations and inequalities in two variables and linear functions, and solve these problems accurately using a variety of strategies. So I will highlight here in the performance task the two verbs which are the formulate and solve. So these are the specific verb indicators that students should perform in this subject or lesson. So if the students can perform these behavioral verbs, then this is an indicator of learning how to formulate and solve involving math problems such as math equations and other mathematical problem solving. Now let's see the transfer goal. So the learner on their own and in the long run will be able to accurately solve problems involving systems of linear equations in order to come up with a better decision. So you need to think of the performance and how do they apply to math concepts in real world situations. And again, this would be our transfer goal. So in this example, making decision is our real world purpose. Now let me present another example so that we will be able to master how to formulate transfer goals. So the learner is able to apply the concepts of trigonometric ratios to formulate and solve real-life problems with precision and accuracy. So the verbs here are the apply, formulate, and solve. Now here is the transfer goal. So the learner on its own and in the long run will be able to apply trigonometric ratios to solve related real-life problems in order to approximately calculate inaccessible heights. So let us remember, we have to take note that real-world purpose is the most important element in learning because that's what we do in real life. In this example, we don't expect our learners to literally measure the height of a building using the tools. But in a realistic view, the learners will approximately calculate the height by using the lesson of trigonometric ratio. So trigonometric ratio is the real-world purpose for measuring heights or inaccessible heights. So in this example, we need to think of realistic situations, just like measuring a skyscrapers. So we can also measure the skyscrapers without measuring it literally. But we just need to use the trigonometric ratio of a math topic or lesson. So here I present to you another example. So the learner is able to conduct systematic mini research applying the different statistical methods. So in this example, we can only see one verb, and the transfer goal is the learner on their own and in the long run will be able to systematically conduct a mini research applying the different statistical methods in order to come up with a recommendations and solutions to the existing problems. So the verb here is conduct, and it is taken from the performance standards. And the realistic performance task is to come up with the recommendations and solutions to the existing problems. Now, the last example to be presented is a physical education topic or lesson in which it focuses on the active and healthy lifestyle of an individual. So here I present to you the performance standard. The learner is able to maintain an active lifestyle to influence the physical participation of the community and society, practices healthy eating habits that supports an active lifestyle. So the verbs that are found in this example are influence and participation. So for the transfer goal, the learner on their own and in the long run will be able to participate in societal fitness for an active and healthy lifestyle. So the guidelines of formulating the transfer goal is also followed in this example, and the statement begins with the expression the student on their own and in the long run will, and the verb in the performance standard is found in the statement in the transfer goal. So the transfer goal also contains the product or performance stipulated in the performance standard, which is the societal fitness or the maintenance of an active and healthy lifestyle. And that's the end of my topic. Thank you so much for listening, and may God bless you all.